Hey, everybody, good morning, good morning. My name's Christian Smedberg, and welcome to TCA. And I have Mr. Andy Turner, not so much here, but remote. Good morning, Andy.
Hi, good morning, Christian. Yeah, I'm coming to you live this work. I'm excited. I'm coming to you live. I'm actually in Denton, Texas this morning.
Oh, how's the great state of Texas?
It's fantastic. It's great. It is the great state of Texas. It's warm, it's gorgeous weather. Things are beautiful here.
So, Andy, what brought you to Texas today? I haven't seen you all week, actually.
Yeah, so I'm traveling down here this week with our one of our top agents in the country, Mays Machinery. Eric Mazurek is taking me to see some of our top customers. I wanted to get out and thank some of our big customers for trusting us with their technology. And so we're out doing some of that this week.
Very good. Hey, I want to get Eric on camera, but
Let's do it.
Yeah, but
okay.
Let's just run through a couple things. So TCA this morning, everybody. First of all, we're live. So drop your comments in the comment feed like normal. Yeah, and also we're going to be covering a few things. So I just want to give you a rundown before we go into what's happening in Texas. We got this morning. We're talking to Andy in Texas. We're going to talk about Next Level, which is next week. That's exciting. That's our open house here in Mooresville. So stay tuned for that. We'll get into that in just a couple minutes. And then after that, we're going to be playing an interview that we did last week with Hexagon software. A lot of you know them as AlphaCam or Cabinet Vision. But we're going to be playing you that interview, keeping the theme of bringing industry relevant content to you. So stay tuned for that as well. Okay, so that's the rundown of what we're doing on TCA today. Andy, back to you. What's going on in Texas?
Well, so like I said before, a lot of things are going on in Texas, but if you don't mind, let's take just a few minutes. I want to introduce you to somebody here, Mr. Eric Mazurek. So I'm going to turn the camera. Eric, you're on. Why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do, Eric?
Well, good morning, or as they say in Germany, guten Morgen zu alle. Anybody's watching in Germany, grüß Gott, mein Leute, and Taube. Eric Mazurek. I am directly, indirectly with the WEINIG Group, almost 30 years now, Andy.
Yeah.
11 years direct with WEINIG, where I completed a 6-year term over in Germany right when I was a young boy, about 18 years old. I did an apprenticeship program over there. Then worked about 5 years in North America. And currently in my 19th year as a representative in the great state of Texas for the WEINIG Group products in Holzer. We cover basically the central part of Texas all the way to the south to the border, over to El Paso, and about a 15-hour drive all the way over to Shreveport as well, if you'd like to drive that one as well, and a little bit in southern Louisiana.
Eric, can you give us a little bit of a picture of, what the woodworking industry in Texas looks like, both in general and now with COVID?
Well, since COVID, actually everybody had that little pause or so forth. But what quite ironically, there's always just two big sectors here in Texas, which is the commercial side and then the residential side. New housing builds, whether that be a home builder or whether that would be multifamily. Mm-hmm. And also then there's the commercial side, the traditional laminate shops that are catering to architectural areas, dentistries, hospitals, and so on. With the pause that happened during COVID where everybody couldn't travel, we're actually on track to match the prior record for the highest builds here in the DFW area and other parts of the state.
Wow.
It's almost going to be 36,000 home starts this year alone in DFW, which is crazy. I don't know where all these people are coming from, but they're coming from everywhere else but Texas, some of them. But it's a large influx.
Eric, is that okay with you Texans?
Well, we probably don't want to discuss that live. We'll do that in a separate conversation. But if you get the Texas way and you get the y'all and the principle of helping one another, you'll love this place.
There you go. There you go. Very good. Hey, listen, before we let you go, Eric, real quick, give us a rundown one more time. Mays Machinery, the areas that you guys cover. Obviously, you cover both WEINIG equipment and Holzer equipment. Kind of give us a picture of your company, Mays Machinery, down there.
Mays Machinery. Well, obviously what you just said, you're one of our main vendors here in the great state of Texas too. But we cover also the finishing aspects of the solid wind industry and non-solid wind industry with the Chefla Group.
Okay.
They're going to be combining with y'all next week during the live event as well, overlapping on those days. Time Saver is one of our bigger vendors as well too for the sanding application for solid wood and veneers and other processes. Mat company for encoping and other processing. Some American companies as well that kind of give it a whole broad range of areas, from small shops like Ritter Equipment, where our pocket hole drill machines, to small clamps for doors, so we can graduate them and get them into other production levels where people want to grow.
Very good, very good. And one more time, I think you mentioned this, but how long have you been in the industry?
Longer than you, Christian.
And I would like to mention also longer than Andy. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I'm probably a little bit older than Andy, just a little bit. But, when I was 18 years old, I went over to Germany. 6 years I stayed there in an apprenticeship with a medalist apprenticeship program sponsored by WEINIG.
Okay.
5 years in North America as a product manager in special sales applications. Back in the day, that was in Statesville, North Carolina, which now we're in Mooresville, North Carolina. I had a 4-year hiatus that I was with another competitive company as well too. Learned some different processing, particularly the panel processing industry. And then since 2002, I've been Mays Machinery LLC here in the great state of Texas, representing those products that we've talked about. So over almost 30 years, directly, indirectly with the WEINIG Group.
Wow. Well, Eric, we appreciate you, and we appreciate all that you do in Texas and all the wealth of knowledge that you bring to the group. You only get that with experience, and it's great to have you on the team.
Y'all are a great partner. We greatly appreciate y'all as well. Have a great day.
So Andy, I want to talk about Next Level real quick. Let everybody know what's going on next week, next Thursday and Friday. And Eric made mention of it, which is Chefla Live is happening on Wednesday and Thursday of next week as well. Andy, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what they can expect and how they can participate?
Well, first, make sure to check out the invites. We've had some personal invite videos that have gone out, that will go out. I think we saw Tim Keaveney up in Michigan, way up in the UP of Michigan, did an invitation. You told me that you did one yesterday. I apologize, I haven't seen that yet. Michael Cassell did one from the showroom yesterday. That's going to be up soon. So you can get some more information about what we're going to be showing there. But basically, we have 35 machines under power ready to demonstrate for you next week at the Next Level 2020. And yes, we are in conjunction with the Chefla Live. That will be a Wednesday, Thursday event. Our event's going to be Thursday, Friday. So it'll be a little bit of a nice overlap there. But we're going to show off a lot of technology. We hope that you will. We're ready to receive you in Mooresville. We have the hygiene in place. The hygiene precautions in place. We have we'll check your temperature. We'll ask you some questions. We'll offer you a mask. We're ready for you to come in. Or you can certainly always watch us on Facebook, on YouTube, or on WEINIGholzer.com. Also, WEINIGholzer.com is where the schedule of events is now and will be. The live streams will be there as well. So go there, register for the event. Register if you're going to be in person or if you're going to be virtual. We'd like to know that you're watching.
That's right. Like
It'll be a great event.
Yeah, like Andy said, there will be a corresponding live stream that we will be doing for 2 straight days. The agenda, the presentation and demonstration agenda for that live stream is currently published on WEINIGholzer.com, so you can go there, check it out. Just in case you're only interested in a few presentations, you can tune in at those specific times. But man, we would love to see you in person. So if you want to make the trip, like Andy said, we have all of our safety protocols in place. Be sure to register. Super important that you register if you're going to come here in person. You can register at WEINIGholzer.com along with getting all the information about how to attend the event in person. So, yeah.
All right. So I see that Jacob has mentioned that Texas is the best state. I'm assuming that he's referring to Texas, and I would say that Texas is very good. But if you live in North Carolina, it's hard to say that anything's better than North Carolina.
All right, so we got a little state envy happening in the Facebook comments. So if y'all are watching on Facebook, you might want to give a shout out to your very own home state, and not let the Texans always be bigger, I guess. So, listen, all right. So, listen, Andy, thanks for joining us on the road. Thank you, Eric, for coming in as well. I think at this point, I want to go ahead and get going with an interview that we did last week with Hexagon, which is a great industry partner on the software side of things. So we're going to play that for everyone right now. Andy, thanks again. Appreciate it. Good seeing you.
Very good. You guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you next week.
All right. All right, everybody. So here is the interview that we did last week.
Okay, so here on the TCA, we continue to try to make things relevant. We try to make it valuable, and we try to discuss things that are going on in the industry, things that our industry would be interested in knowing about. And so today we are fortunate to have with us Paul DeSavio, the marketing manager for Hexagon, and we'd like to we'll just take some time and talk some about what Hexagon does for our industry, because many of you, once you hear a little bit about what Paul says, I think you're going to know exactly who Hexagon is, but maybe right now you don't know exactly who they are. So welcome, Paul. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to spend with Christian and I here on the TCA. And if you don't mind, just take a few minutes and tell us some about who Hexagon is and where you fit into the woodworking industry.
All right, sure. Thanks, Andy. And thanks, Christian. First, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys today. Been missing, getting this kind of face-to-face interaction, even though we're over the computer. But we would have been hanging out a month ago in Atlanta, but I guess this will suffice. But I appreciate you having me on today. But yeah, Andy, to what you were saying, going back to what most of you guys, or a lot of you listeners would remember us as is Planet, or even back in the Cabinet Vision and AlphaCam days. And we've been through some acquisitions since I started with the business a long time ago, but not as long as Andy started. So, but yeah, so we've been through some acquisitions, and in 2014, Hexagon acquired the Vero software business, which had acquired the Planet business, and Hexagon is a global technology company. They have divisions doing a lot of different things in automation technologies. In fact, it's fascinating some of the industries they're in, from mining and geospatial to agriculture, even safety and infrastructure and those types of things. But the division we're in is manufacturing intelligence, and we're a part of a group of companies and products to help our customers to improve their manufacturing processes. We've got solutions that are on the design and engineering and simulation type software. We're in production software, which is really working with you guys and the machinery companies to manufacture parts. And then we have other products that are actually machinery, measurement machinery and metrology machinery, to kind of tie it all in and measure parts as they come off the production line to see how they are to specification, things in quality control. So it's really exciting to see what Hexagon is able to do for our customer base in terms of touching a lot of different areas in their business. But where I sit with AlphaCam and Cabinet Vision, we're mainly focused on the woodworking markets, case good manufacturers, furniture manufacturers, and helping them streamline their manufacturing process from the software perspective. And then, of course, working with the machinery companies to generate G-code and those kind of things to drive production. So it's exciting times, but yeah.
Very good. I think that many people will remember AlphaCam and Cabinet Vision and know AlphaCam and Cabinet Vision, but thanks for tying that together so we know about who Hexagon, where Hexagon fits in this.
Sure.
So
thanks.
Paul, with Cabinet Vision and AlphaCam, like Andy said, two very well-known softwares in the woodworking industry, both of which have had a long history in our industry as well. But I'm sure that they continue to get developed by your team, and they probably look a whole lot different now than they did, say, 10 years ago, huh?
Sure, absolutely. we're constantly developing, new versions and new features, adding new things, adding new integrations with other products even.
Sure.
We're in the process, actually, while we record this, we haven't released the latest Cabinet Vision version, but by the time this airs, we will have released version 21 of Cabinet Vision.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. And it's actually one of the most exciting releases that we've had in quite a while, where we sort of reconfigured the way that we think about our customers being able to purchase the kind of features and things that make sense for their business. So it's really exciting. A lot of new things in there. So yeah, it's always funny to see some of our customers, some of the longtime customers, tell us, man, I've been with you guys since the DOS days, product even. So it's always changing. To me, that's one of the exciting things about the software business is the rate of development, and there's always something new. And it's always fascinating to be able to listen to our customer base, listen to our partners, listen to the industry, and to be able to implement those types of enhancements and adding new features to be able to deliver that to the market. It's really exciting, and it's very satisfying to be able to continually improve. And I know, that's one of the things that we preach to our customers in terms of getting to a smarter factory. Now, there's no such thing as a smart factory, really. We think of it more as a smarter factory and always looking to improve. And
Absolutely.
we do the same thing with our own products, is always trying to drive innovation and drive improvement down the line.
So that's really interesting. I've never really thought about it like that, but I completely agree. It's a smarter factory, as in you can always do your process a little bit better. You can always change it to get a little bit better. You can always streamline it a little bit more, add a little bit more technology. That's absolutely true, and a good way of putting it. And also and I'm not in the software world, but I understand new releases are exciting, right? When like a new release comes out of a software package, it's always exciting to get those enhancements out in the field, to get people using them and to get feedback from them, etc. Okay, so, and we could talk about software all day long, Paul, but what are you seeing as far as the new normal in our industry and in your customer base? And even there at Hexagon, you guys probably have seen a ton of changes in the workplace, in the work environment. Tell us about those.
Okay, sure. I guess I can start with, what sort of the changes that we've seen as a company and the way that we've sort of dealt with a changing work environment. Obviously we were work from home based for several months, and we're starting to get back into our offices. We started off in a kind of controlled method. I think the good thing about what we learned during that period where people were working from home is how to take advantage of a lot of the technologies that we already had available to us, and B, seeing the rate of development in some of those technologies in terms of, Zoom, what we're on now, which has really become it's going to be in the Merriam-Webster dictionary as one of those words of the year. But also, we use Microsoft Teams in terms of our collaboration tools, and the focus that we put was really on, how do we stay working as a team even when we're physically separate? And so some of the things, and it's just a change of mindset, is to really take the time to meet with your colleagues, even, outside of work topics, just to kind of recreate those, office cooler or in the hallway chats and everything, just to keep people, together and working as a team. And it worked really well. As we're moving back into getting into our office spaces, I hope that we continue to have that mindset moving forward, which is, let's make sure that we take the time to, reconnect with our colleagues and think about people, because we have offices all over the place, and, to make sure that we're staying connected. And it's a similar mindset with, what we can do with our customer base as well, is to start to think, hey, instead of just, seeing them at this event or seeing them at this event here, how can we start to stay in more continual contact with them. And I know, some of the things that you guys are doing here with the TCA and some of the videos that you've done and the retooling tour is to really just stay in contact with your customers and to stay close. So in terms of that learning curve and the lessons learned from the past several months, I think that's a big one in terms of just a change of mindset in how can you just kind of stay connected. In terms of what's happening with our customers, obviously, and I'm sure you guys see it, you'll get different answers in different parts of the country, but overall, it seems like, especially our residential customers who are in residential, things didn't really slow down for a lot of our customer base. They remain busy. They're seeing an uptick in things. I think in some areas, our commercial customers are in a kind of a wait and see pattern in some areas, but still doing okay. But really, in terms of residential customers, they are doing fantastic. Closets even as well. But anyone in the residential space, they're having a hard time keeping up, which is fantastic to hear. And I'm sure you guys are hearing similar things. I hope so, but.
Well, and we're so tied, we talk about this sometimes, we're so tied to the housing industry, right? And single family homes in that residential sector, they need a lot of products that our industry offers. So a lot of the shops that are catering to those single family homes, they are busy, and we're seeing some in the commercial side too. And we were talking earlier about things that we certainly have a sales force that covers here. We're more familiar with what happens in North America on the machinery side. You've got a sales force that's covering the U.S. for the software side in this same market. And we talk a little bit about what the feedback we're getting from our people on the TCA on a regular basis. What are you hearing? I'm sure that some of the stuff you just mentioned was from that, but what else are you hearing from your sales channel, your reps that you have around the country? How are they seeing things in different parts of the country even?
Sure. I think they are really happy to get out there again and be with their customers. I think is one of the most exciting feedback that they're giving to us here, because as much as you can connect with a customer and a manufacturer via the web and everything, it really helps to be able to visit them in their facility and to not just look at a single problem, because it's never in isolation, and to be able to identify a lot of different areas that your product or your solutions can fix. Just like your sales channel that covers the country, they've got a lot of experience. Our team has a lot of experience, and they see a lot of different businesses over the course of a month and a year. So they start to identify best practices, and it helps for them to actually be with the customer and be in their facility just to see how things are running and to be able to identify areas to improve. And I think that's really important for them. They're excited when they were able to travel again and visit shops in person. That was really important to them, because it's one thing to be able to talk online and talk about your own products, but to be able to be with the customer, talk about what their pain points are, and really, get a broader perspective of what's going on in their shop to be able to identify areas that they can improve. That's been huge for us. But again, in most of the guys are telling me that their customers in some areas haven't even slowed down, and the residential has been going really well. So it's exciting to hear, and I think that's good. A lot of that ties into the housing market as well.
And you mentioned how excited they are to be able to travel again. We talk about it a lot. Our industry is, even beyond our industry, we are created. We are social beings, right? We want to have social interaction, and certainly our industry, because we certainly use the technology, and part of your area of the industry is probably a little more technology driven, certainly as a software company, but while we use the technology, we're not really considered a technological company, right? There's a lot of people that are still doing things the way they used to do, and one of the things they used to always do is interact, is see people. They're used to having salespeople come over to talk with them, to meet with them, to investigate their needs. trade shows. We talked about that earlier. That's always been a big part of our industry.
Talk about it all the time.
And that social interaction that we get, you know, it's hard to replace that. And that's one of the challenges that we have right now in our current environment. And I'm not sure when that goes away. So as we are trying to replace some of these shows, being that we are social creatures, you know, tell us a little bit about, I'm hearing about this woodworking conference that you guys are going to be putting on here next month. And, you know, you want to take a little bit of time and explain some of what that is to the industry.
Sure. I agree with you, Andy, in terms of the trade shows being, you know, the in-person events. I don't think they're ever going to go away. They're just kind of on hold because we are social. We do like to connect and network and those types of things. And there's a lot of value in the unstructured time at those events. I think, you know, the relationships that are built at those places. And another thing about the industry is not only are they social, but they're also collaborative. And I always love seeing our customers who have shops that probably compete with each other right across the street from each other, collaborate on things and invite their competitors into their shops to show them what they've learned. And I love that about this industry is the collaboration, even among our customers who you would call them competitors, except, you know, they all get along and it's fantastic. But in terms of, you know, us thinking about ways to educate the marketplace on what's new, ways that they can improve their business during this time, we got together with a wide range of our partners and are hosting a woodworking conference. It's a digital conference. It'll be a series of webinars starting on October 6th. In fact, to kick it off on October 6th at 11 a.m. Eastern is Mike Cassell from WEINIG Holzer. He's going to talk about the reintroduction of Shoda into the Americas, which I know is exciting for you guys. And we're really excited to have you guys participate in the event with us. I mean, we wanted to, you know, think of it like what will we normally do in regular times? And that's, we would get together with our partners, we would go set up and do an open house and invite a lot of different types of solutions providers to those events and to present to the customers, you know, what's latest and greatest, talk about best practices in each of those different areas. And so how can we replicate that digitally? And that's what we're doing. So every Tuesday and Thursday in October, we've got 2 sessions per day. The first one's on 11 a.m. Eastern. The second one's at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's free to attend. We've got machinery companies. We have hardware companies, door manufacturers. We have educators talking about how to find and train great people. You know, just a wide range of companies coming together to educate the market. And I don't see this replacing, you know, the IWFs. I don't see it. It's just another way that we can stay in touch, like we talked about earlier, and just communicate what's going on in this period, and just being able to use what people are becoming more accustomed to, which is that digital format, to reach them in a different way. So if you want to learn more about that, just go to woodworkingconference.com and you'll see the whole agenda. You can register. Like I mentioned, it's free. We just want it to be a useful solutions-based seminar and conference for the industry. And we're glad to have you guys on board. We're excited about it. The other session that WEINIG Holzer will be doing is on October 20th at 11 a.m. Eastern. And you guys will be talking about the automated storage and retrieval systems, which is a really exciting, you know, technology that people are just now starting to adopt widely, I think. But can really streamline processes for them. So
as those factories get smarter, right?
But exactly, you know, you know, people are looking at ways to, you know, how can I do this better? How can I improve this process? And how can I improve this process? And just continuing on that line. And that's one of those ways. So we're really excited to have you guys with us.
So Paul, when an attendee attends the woodworking conference that you guys are putting on, and is able to see someone like Mike Cassell present on either show the routers or the retrieval system, etc., will they be able to interact with others or with the presenter or with a moderator? And how are you guys navigating through that time of interacting in a conference?
Sure. We are putting on the event using Microsoft Teams live events, and
Okay.
that allows the live chat Q&A. So the attendees will be able to type in any of the questions they want to the presenters, and other attendees can actually like the questions and everything. So it's sort of meritocracy of questions and be able to vote for it that way,
Cool.
so that the presenter can really focus on some of the best questions, I would say.
The most
Not the
popular
best
questions,
the most
right?
Popular ones, right? Yeah.
The most popular ones as well. So, that's, I think you're right. That's really that's the biggest challenge of doing the types of events like this, is that interaction with the audience.
Yep.
And I think the technologies have come a long way in terms of how to accommodate that. This particular one, that's how it accommodates for that. But really what we want to do is make sure that conversation that we have with the attendees is ongoing. So, we'll make sure that they have contact with whoever's presenting, that they can follow up that conversation later. If they're introduced to new ideas and they have more questions, we'll have the recordings online after the fact that they can see and interact with. So
I think that's one of the major challenges, isn't it? As we move forward into this new event normal, is if we're going to embrace digital events like many companies in our industry are, and like trade shows that had physical events and now going to digital events, we need to somehow crack this nut of engagement in the digital sphere. And that's a tough one. And I know, Andy and I, we've been trying to crack that one for a couple months now, right?
Yeah.
Doing live videos, doing live webinars, and hosting these virtual events. I think getting the participation level and the engagement level to a point where you're actually interacting with your audience in a very meaningful and valuable way is going to be really the way of the future. That's going to be the golden nugget moving forward, I think.
I agree. I want to say maybe a month or two ago, I was having a phone call with a friend of mine that I grew up with, who's now in finance technology. And we were talking about that digital event space and what the future of those digital events looks like. And I really feel like not only is it, when we can figure out how to have that interaction with the attendees and the presenters in a better and more engaging way, but not only that, like I mentioned before, how can the attendees communicate with each other?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because when somebody can solve that, or at least come up with something that works to that, because if you picture yourself in an auditorium or in one of these conference rooms or whatever, there's a lot of interactions going on, and the presenter to the attendee is just one of those interactions, and one of them is going to be between the attendees and the networking that they get, or the verification of, did you see that? That was cool, and I agree with this, I disagree with that. And that's going to be one of the challenges, I think, that these companies that are producing or creating platforms for these types of events should be looking at, and I hope to see that come in the future. But
the first step in making it better is to start with what we've got right now, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that it's fantastic that we've on the TCA, we've met with other associations, we've met with other companies and they're all kind of giving insight as to how they're using this technology. But I think the best thing about it is that our industry is using it, right?
Yes.
So we're all using it differently.
Sure.
And you and I were talking earlier that I don't know that we have the answer on exactly the best way to use the technology. Everyone has an answer to that. Maybe we don't all have the right answer. Maybe none of us have the right answer. But we said it a couple weeks ago. Christian said it, that what we're doing right now is absolutely shaping what we're going to be doing in the future. And so the only way we can shape that is to start. We have to start with something, right? So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm glad you guys are doing it.
I expect to learn as much as the attendees. I hope so, and to continue to get better at it. So I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate you guys participating, and I'm excited about it. And again, I'm excited to learn those lessons. So just to keep getting better at that.
So Paul, thanks for coming on TCA. And we appreciate it. Just to close it out, how can folks get in touch with you and their local rep for Hexagon?
Sure. You know, for our AlphaCam customers and those interested in AlphaCam, I'd go to alphacam.com.
Okay.
Cabinet Vision, you know, visit cabinetvision.com. But if you're interested to see in all of the different technologies that Hexagon has in the portfolio, hexagonmi.com is our division, Manufacturing Intelligence. It's a great place to start, and it's some really cool stuff. And I'll give you an example. You know, Leica is a Hexagon-owned company. So, you know, it's some of the things that we can do now as part of that group is really exciting. So I encourage you to go and check out and learn more. And Christian, Andy, I appreciate you having me on today. It's been a pleasure to talk to both of you, and hope we do this again soon.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see you in person one of these days, Paul.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
All right, see you soon.
All right, thanks.
All right, so for those of you who lasted through that entire interview and lasted to the end of our TCA stream, again, my name's Christian Smedberg. We had Andy Turner on from his location in Texas this morning. You guys heard about what's going on in Texas and about the housing starts going on down there, and heard from our agent, Eric Mazurik from Mays Machinery. There, we talked about next level. Make sure that if you're interested and you want to register, go to WEINIGHolzer.com to learn more, see the live stream schedule, and if you're coming in person, make sure you register to let us know that you're coming. So that's Next Level 2020. That's next Thursday and Friday. And then you just heard from Paul at Hexagon, which is a great industry partner. A lot of you guys know them as Cabinet Vision or AlphaCam. Great software company, great partner in the industry. It's a shame that we weren't able to see them in person at the Atlanta show, but we are staying connected, bringing you relevant information as it pertains to the industry, and this morning specifically Hexagon software. So next week, we will actually not be here in Mooresville at all. We will be doing TCA on location. Andy and I will be up at Cutter Woodworking, and that's very exciting. So make sure next week you tune in 9 a.m. Eastern time. For this week, well, stay positive, stay healthy. It was great seeing everybody, and we'll see you next week.